Hawaiian shirts are one of the best clothing items to sell during the summer. It is top of the heap. Here's one. The overall sell-through for Hawaiian shirts in pre-owned condition, these are men's Hawaiian shirts, is 29% right now. That number will go up as we progress into summer. The sell-through for all of these shirts is going to go up as the weather warms. Let's discuss fabrics. Fabrics are really important with Hawaiian shirts. A lot of them are made of rayon. I would say predominantly rayon or cotton. Most of them, I think, are rayon, and rayon is a little bit cheaper. If you can get lyocell, which is a kind of rayon, that will add a little bit of value, and the sell-through for lyocell is a little bit higher. So 22% for rayon overall, and 43% for lyocell, which is a good thing. Linen is really helpful with Hawaiian shirts. Linen period, which will include linen blends, is 42% sell-through. This is for just Hawaiian shirts period for men, which is pretty good. And 100% linen is a little higher, 49%. That number again will go up. Viscose is another pretty good fabric. It's 37% sell-through. Bamboo fabric you find from time to time. I expected the sell-through to be higher, but it's only 25% right now. Also, a ton of Hawaiian shirts will be made with silk. A lot of them 100% silk. Silk period Hawaiian shirts are 37% sell-through, which is slightly above average. Vintage Hawaiian shirts in certain brands like Rain Spooner can do really well, but vintage overall doesn't confer all that much value. It's only 30% sell-through for vintage period for Hawaiian shirts. So just because you find an old or Hawaiian shirt doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily sell for all that much if the brand isn't right and if the size, aesthetic, and fabric are not right. Those variables are very important with Hawaiian shirts. I would argue a little more important, a little more relevant, or a little more potent than with other kinds of clothing, because they are purchased primarily for aesthetic. Brand is still really important, but aesthetic, size, fabric can trump brand a lot of the times. Size is incredibly important with Hawaiian shirts. From extra small up through XL, it's kind of an even keel, hovering around 30% sell-through. When you get into the bigger sizes, there's a big peak in sales. 2XL is 44%, 3XL is 78%. 3XL is the best-selling size for Hawaiian shirts. 4XL, 59%, 5XL, 65%, and 6XL is 91%. 6X and above is pretty rare. That is an impressive sell-through number, and that's one circumstance where I don't think brand probably matters all that much. If you could find the extra plus size Hawaiian shirts, you shouldn't have too much trouble selling them. And also the plus sizes, you can typically sell them for more money. Most of the Hawaiian shirts that you find are going to be pretty predictable in terms of what they look like. They're going to be floral like this. Floral and flower are good keywords to know for your titles. This is technically both. So flower print is like a graphic representation of flowers. Floral is like outlines of flowers or suggestive of flowers. You can use both, or it'll be graphic scenes of luau's or boats, kind of cliche Hawaiian imagery. That's most of them. If you can find Hawaiian shirts that move out of that canon of tropes, if you can find stuff with really novel prints or weird designs, really eye-catching stuff, or stuff that's attached to specific intellectual properties, like pop culture stuff, those shirts can be worth a lot more. Let's go through the brands. We'll start with the really good ones and go downwards. Researched all these numbers today, so they are completely fresh, and I went by what the biggest brands are in terms of active and solds on eBay. So these are most of the shirts that constitute most of the sales in Hawaiian shirts. It's certainly not all of them. There are hundreds of brands that make Hawaiian shirts. Bamboo K is a pretty common brand that I thought was an ass brand, but I was wrong, or maybe it's bounced back. It's around 100% sell-through right now in pre-owned condition. And average sales price is around 21 bucks, which is pretty good. I found Bamboo K fairly often when I lived in San Diego, so that might be a good candidate. Banana Republic, of all brands, is doing really well right now. It's also close to 100% sell-through. The average sales price isn't that impressive. It's around 14 bucks. But if you can find it for cheap, if you can find it for a couple bucks, probably pretty good to pick up. Disney. is doing awesome. The sell-through is not quite 100%. I think it was around like 70%, but the average sales price is 44 bucks. If you can find vintage Disney stuff with really recognizable characters on it, those shirts appeal to all kinds of different people. You know, the streetwear people wear Disney, especially vintage Disney, because it goes hard, and people buy it for nostalgia reasons. All kinds of people want the Disney stuff. It's doing really well right now. Not all Disney is created equal, but the Hawaiian shirts are awesome right now. Harbor Bay, which I usually found is HB, is doing really well. It's not that valuable. It's 15 bucks average sales price, but it's close to 100% sell through. This is a great bins pickup. If you can find it again for like $2-3 bucks, I would probably get it. Harley Davidson doing really well. The sell-through is a little bit south of 100%, but the average sales price is pretty high at 28 bucks. Jam's World is awesome. Jam's World is like top 3 Hawaiian shirt brands for me. They also make women's clothing. You can also find vintage Jam's World. The logo is pretty hard to miss. It's the jagged, multicolored letters. About 150% sell-through. Average sales price for Jam's World Hawaiian shirt, 60 bucks, which is about as good as it gets on this list. Patagonia, not a big shocker. Look for their Pataloha line, which I think is primarily vintage. That stuff is worth a little bit more than average, but the average is pretty high. It's 48 bucks just for vanilla Patagonia Hawaiian shirts and about 100% sell-through. You really can't go wrong with Patagonia Hawaiian stuff. Of all brands, Ralph Lauren. I just searched Ralph Lauren. I didn't fractionate it into the sublines, all of them. I did separate chaps out because those are really common. But just Ralph Lauren, period. Tons of actives and solds, and it's pretty close to 100% sell-through. And the average sales price is 35 bucks. Way better numbers than I would have anticipated for Ralph Lauren because it's such a common brand. Robert Graham is having a moment in the sun, so to speak, with the Hawaiian shirts. Not all of it is great. Not all Robert Graham is great, but the Hawaiian shirts are 150% sell-through, $51 for average sale price. And all the average sales prices are in used pre-owned condition, used pre-owned. They're all in pre-owned condition. Star Wars, I think probably this includes the Star Wars official branded and the unofficial Star Wars patterns, Hawaiian shirts, around 100% sell-through, $36 average sales prices. Stuff like that, if you find it, it depends again on the property. Probably I would guess Marvel and DC Hawaiian shirts are more common and less valuable. But if you find stuff like that, I would look it up. And if you find Star Wars Hawaiian shirts, then probably get them. Untuck It. I didn't know that their Hawaiian shirts were this popular. Around 200% sell-through, which is the highest on the list, and $21, which is lower than I would have anticipated. But Untuck It shirts are solid bread and butter always. And the Hawaiian shirts are especially popular, apparently. These are the middling brands. These are the ones that are, the sell-through I would say is like 50% to 80% around there, and the average sales prices typically are like 15 to 25 bucks. These may improve as we go into summer. I have to keep reiterating that because it's a really important point. You have to take this with a grain of salt. American Eagle is on the lower side of middling sales, and average sales price is 15 bucks. Generally a good bins pickup period for American Eagle, but the Hawaiian shirts are, I would say, a little more popular than just standard shirts for them. Billabong is a surf skate brand. It's pretty middling to low end stuff. Sell-through is okay, 16 bucks average sales price. Burma Bebas or Bebass. It is not a Bebass brand. It is a middling brand, okay sales, 18 buck average sales price. Cubavera, I really hate Cubavera, but the numbers tell a different story. Sell-through is okay, 15 bucks, it's all right. Foundry is surprisingly strong right now. Sell-through is pretty good, 15 buck average sales price. I thought it was an ass brand. It isn't really. Hilo Hattie or Hilo Hattie, a really common Hawaiian shirt brand that is worth a little bit above average money for how common it is. There is a lot of vintage Hilo Hattie. It's not necessarily in higher demand than contemporary Hilo Hattie. This is one of the brands where aesthetic and size and fabric are going to be really important. But the sell-through is lower, but there's a huge number of actives and solds, so there's definitely an opportunity there. And at 19 bucks, average sales price is okay. J. Crew, solid, okay sell-through, 15 bucks, another good one for the bids. Kahala is Very like bread and buttery. It's pretty good. The sell-through, I said, is lower mid-tier in terms of demand, but the average sales price is pretty decent, 25 bucks. Kalaheo is a brand I've never found personally. Okay sell-through, around 50% sell-through, I think, and average sales price is 20 bucks. Kennington, I've found this a lot, and I'm always frustrated by it, or was always frustrated by it, because it looks nicer than eBay thinks that it is. I said it's in the high ass range, which probably means around 1/3 sell-through, $17 average sales prices. Another one where if you find like really crazy designs, because there are a lot of really crazy designs in this brand, it may expedite the sale. LL Bean, middle of the road sell-through, 17 bucks. Lucky brand, also very middling. Okay sell-through, 16 bucks. Pacific Legend, very common brand, only about 1/3 sell-through, $16 average sales prices, but the numbers of actives and solds are large. It's one of those brands where there's just a big volume of it that is sold, even though the volume is small compared to the actives. What that means is if you can lot it up, or if you can sell it for cheap, or if you're a wizard with keywords, or you promote the listing really hard, that may be a good opportunity. Levi's is doing pretty well. Middle of the road sales, 18 bucks. Margaritaville, which is the Jimmy Buffett brand, I always thought was trash, but I guess it's doing all right. It's middle of the road again in terms of sell-through, and 17 bucks, pretty standard. Nat Nast, a brand that I grew to really not trust very much, but the Hawaiian shirts are doing quite well, or not quite well, they're doing pretty good. Lower mid-range sell-through, 21 bucks, which is slightly above average. It seems like there's some meat on that bone. Orvis, good sell-through. I think it was around like 70% sell-through, and $17 average sales price. Paradise Found, another brand that I thought was an ass brand, but is doing pretty good. I said it was good sell-through, and $25, which is decent. Quicksilver is another surf skate brand, pretty trashy, but the Hawaiian shirts, around 50% sell-through, 16 bucks, not bad. Rain Spooner, very common Hawaiian shirt brand. There are a lot of Rain Spooner shirts that you can sell for really decent money. What I was saying about the novelty prints, Rain Spooner is the brand that I'm thinking of. If you can find Rain Spooner shirts with graphics that correspond with like local landmarks, I found these a couple times living in San Diego. I found like a shirt with the Hotel Del on it. I flipped it for like 40, 50 bucks. Stuff like that, novelty prints, limited runs, collaboration pieces with artists, specific artists can do pretty well. It's a big brand. The generic Rain Spooner, a lot of it isn't going to sell for that much money, but it's a really important Hawaiian shirt brand to know. It's one of the big marquee brands. It's around 50% sell-through, or I said half sell-through. Average sales price is 34 bucks, which is pretty good. There's an argument to be made that this should be in the good tier, but because it's kind of erratic, you really have to pay attention to exactly what it is that you're sourcing and how you price it. I'm putting it in the like mid-range tier. Territory Ahead. Their Hawaiian shirts are doing good. Middle of the road, sell-through, okay demand, 19 bucks, it's okay. Tommy Bahama is the 800-pound gorilla in the Hawaiian shirt room. It's the most common or like most famous Hawaiian shirt brand. It's one that gets hyped up a lot, and it's one that kind of deserves its own video, and I might actually make like an autopsy video for Tommy Bahama because it's so complicated. There's lots of layers to Tommy Bahama. My recommendation generally is to get very, very specific with your search terms when you look it up before you buy it, and you should always look it up before you buy it. Again, if you find like 3X and up, pretty safe. 100% silk tends to sell better than silk blends or otherwise. The embroidered novelty run shirts, the small printed, like the smaller run shirts, tend to be better, but not all of them are. When people say, if you find one with a big embroidered graphic on the back, get it, I would pump the brakes a little bit because I've bought them before and had them sit and sit and sit and then flip for like 25, 30 bucks. So some of them are worth a bunch, but it breaks down by shirt, and you should be able to find exact comps even for the rarer shirts. So just tread lightly, and also with Tommy Bahama, and this goes for all Hawaiian shirts, if you find shirts that are made with wood buttons or mother of pearl or any other kind of shell or organic button, double, triple check to make sure they're not broken or missing, because a lot of the time those get donated because one of the buttons will be snapped in half, and that greatly diminishes the value of the shirt. Overall, the sell-through for Tommy Bahama is middling. It's okay, around half, and $25 average sales price, which is certainly above average. So it's not an ass brand, but it's not a brand that you should just blithely purchase expecting it to sell for good money, because a lot of the times it won't. Tory Richard, another really big Hawaiian shirt brand that has made a lot of people a lot of money. It's pretty good, middle of the road. I keep saying middle of the road. It's like middling, okay sell-through, and $21, which is decent. Vintage Silk, another surprise brand, one that I thought was terrible. Sell-through is pretty strong. I said it was good. I think most of the good ones were around 70%, 25 bucks. It's decent. I used to find this all the time. I always passed on it. That might have been a mistake. Okay, now the ass brands. These are the ones that are low sell-through and low value. Value? We're just gonna machine gun through them. Aloha Republic, Banana Cabana, Big Dogs. That one's a bummer. Bill Blass is Bill Ass. Bruno, Campiamoda, Caribbean Joe, Chaps. Columbia is ass, unfortunately, right now. Cook Street, Croft and Barrow, Eddie Bauer, George, Go Barefoot, Guy Harvey, Havana Jack's Cafe, Island Republic, Island Shores, Izod, Jamaica Jacks, Joe Marlin, Joseph A. Bank, KYS or Kai's is ass. ME Sport, Munsingwear, you may find that as Penguin, it's the same brand. Natural Issue, Nautica, Ocean Current, Ocean Pacific, although vintage Ocean Pacific, especially in shorts, tends to do pretty well. Hawaiian shirts, it's slightly less bad. Old Navy, Palm Wave, Pierre Cardin, really common to find Pierre Cardin. Even the vintage stuff, I would avoid. Pineapple, RJC, Ron Sherskin, Roundtree and York, Roundy Bay, Royal Creations, Saddlebred, St. John's Ass, Asso Elba, Tommy Hilfiger, Van Heusen, Winnie Fashion, and Woolrich. With all of the ass brands, if you found like an Izod Hawaiian shirt that is linen blend, it's 5XL, and it has a crazy print on it, probably still worth getting. Hawaiian shirts, again, are nice in that these modifiers can transcend, can defeat the assness of the brand and give you a good sale. This is one of those niches where having a feel for the market generally, a lot of the times is just as valuable as having brand knowledge. Now you have both. If you like this kind of material, I have a pay what you want product called the Menswear Manifesto. That's 401 men's clothing brands broken down by category. Gives you a sense of the sell-through of these average sale prices, and it's a great starting point if you're a beginner reseller or just to help clarify where the market is right now. There's a link to that down in the description. So I don't believe in that motion that I just did. So I'll give you one of those. Thanks for watching.